got a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car. Now I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just across the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs. Finally see what it means to be living. I remember we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, felt like I was drunk. City lights laid out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder, and I had a feeling that I belonged, and I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. Absolutely beautiful song and a really fun one on guitar. It's nowhere near as hard as you might think. First thing I want to mention though is I'm playing it without a capo for this lesson. It makes it a little easier for me to explain, and I can't sing it in the original key. It's not that different. The original recording has a capo on the 2nd fret. Of course, it means that everything that I show you today, you'd have to move up 2 frets as well. If you're a male singer, you're probably going to find this key significantly easier, but for most female singers you probably want to try putting the capo on the 2nd fret, or maybe even the 4th fret depending on your vocal range. I'd encourage you to experiment. So this song is a fingerstyle song. We're going to be using our thumb, our 1st finger and our 2nd finger. The actual patterns and the chords are relatively simple, so let's start off by checking out that main riff. If you're new to guitar or struggling at all with your rhythm, then please go check out the JustinGuitar Lessons and Songs app, as well as all my beginner lessons. It's got hundreds of backing tracks specifically designed to help beginners develop a solid sense of rhythm. It's one of the most common pitfalls for beginner guitar players, is they focus too much on chords and chord changes and not enough time on strumming. If your strumming and your rhythm sucks, the rest of it ain't going to sound good either. So if either you're new to guitar and you don't want to develop a bad habit, or you're a bit more experienced on guitar and you have a bad rhythm habit, then do go check out my app. Such a beautiful riff, this one. Okay, so we're going to start off with a C chord, regular bog standard C chord. We lift off the 1st finger. Now this would technically be a C major 7th chord, but we're really just lifting off the 1st finger here to be able to play that nice little riff. Now the finger picking is really important here. The thumb is going to be playing the 5th string, the 2nd thickest string. 1st finger is going to be playing the 3rd string, and 2nd finger is going to be playing the 2nd string. You're going to lift off that 1st finger, or leave it left off, play those 3 strings, so the 5th string, the 3rd string and the 2nd string, but all together. And then you're going to put your 1st finger down on the 1st fret of the 2nd string in the regular place for a C chord. Now the original recording uses a hammer-on, so you play the chord and you hammer that 1st finger down hard and you get the note without having to pick the string again. If you just put your finger down, you'll just deaden the string. You won't hear the note. You really have to think of it as a hammer-on. Now I've always played it picked. I've always picked that note and it sounds just as good. So it's really up to you whether you want to go fully authentic and do the hammer-on, or whether you want to pick the note. You'll still use your middle driving finger if you're going to pick that note again. C chord with the 1st finger off, then 1st finger back on and back off. Then we go to a G. And the G chord, the 3rd finger is going down onto the 3rd fret of the thicker string, little finger is going down 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and your thumb is going to be playing the thicker string, and 1st and 2nd fingers are going to be staying on strings 2 and 3. So, and you play all together, then 2nd string, 3rd string. Now I should point out that I think Tracy, from the videos that I've seen, uses a different fingering for the G chord and the subsequent chords I'm going to show you. I will show you both ways, and I'd encourage you to decide on which one feels most comfortable for you. I feel that this one is really much more comfortable, so this would be my first choice every time, but you might be different, and that's okay to sometimes explore a different fingering. If you do want to go for the kind of authentic Tracy Chapman fingering, you're going to play a G chord like this, with the second finger playing the thicker string and the third finger going down on the third fret of the second string. So she would go, I go, I think it looks easier, I think, if I'm looking at it like that, because the third finger hardly has to move at all. Little finger was already in position, whereas that one requires kind of the whole hand to shift between a C and a G. Now also important here is the rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Recommend that you just practice this first little bit first of all. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and again 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now when we get to the next chord, this is one of the reasons I like the little finger thing. It's gone from the third fret there on the thinner string, and it's going to slide all of the way up to the 8th fret. First finger is going to go down in the 7th fret of the 5th string. And you're going to still play the open G string all of the way through. So thumb is now playing the 5th string, first and second fingers are still on strings 2 and 3. And you're going to play that all just once. So you've gone from the G, you slide little finger up to the 8th fret, first finger goes down 7th fret, 5th string. And you're going to play again all together the 5th string, 3rd string and 2nd string. Now again, little finger slides down 1 fret. First finger now goes in the 5th fret of the 5th string, and you're going to play all together, then 2nd string, 3rd string, 1, 2 and 3 and 4. This is an E minor going to a D. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Now just to go over the Tracy Chapman fingering, if you've done here, this would just be first and third finger, which again, it's not much more difficult at all. This, I feel like that's a little bit more stretchy, okay, to go from here. Feels a bit more, definitely for me, that feels easier than that, to have that third finger all of the way down there. Again, try it out and see if you know, obviously it works for Tracy, she wrote the song, so that's easy. That one, just not quite so much. I'm trying to keep my second finger out of the way. Obviously, that would normally be in a kind of relaxed spot there. So it's the same thing. First finger, 5th fret of the 5th string, open G string, third finger on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. So the Tracy version. My fingering, which is only very slightly differently. It's just using the little finger, I guess, instead of the third finger for the part on the B string. So my recommendation would be to first of all practice just that little riff, really make sure that you can play it nicely in time. The rhythm of it is so important, especially if you're playing it on your own or playing it and singing. You've got to make sure that you got that pulse right, that you're feeling it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. That's really the key thing. If you start leaving pauses, it gets really difficult for you or anyone else to sing. Even this, what I'm doing here, is a good idea. If you want to be able to think about something else or talk while you're doing a pattern like this, especially if you're going to sing, you want to be able to have it kind of semi-automated. If you're thinking about your vocals and singing in tune and remembering the words, you've got to have the guitar at least kind of semi-automated, right? That's a big deal. So you're going to practice it over and over again until you can do that. No substitute for repetition in this kind of riff. Now there's one little variation that happens only in the intro, I think, where I've not seen it live, to be honest, but it is a kind of an iconic part, so let me just show you that as well. So this is going so we've just gone from here, the E minor, little finger goes up 2 frets and back, and then from the D, little finger goes up 1 fret and back. Now, to count that particular rhythm is actually pretty awkward. It's called crotchet triplets or quarter note triplets. I think that you're better off just listening to it and figuring that out. So it's 3 notes over the space of regularly 2 notes. It's not that difficult to play, it's not difficult to hear, but it is a bit awkward to count. So I'm going to leave counting that part and leave you to just figure that one out by ear. For the little intro, I just played 2 verses and then went into that chorus because the original version's got quite a few more verses there before we hit to the chorus part. The chorus is obviously the strumming part. This is one of those ones where I've always played it what I call double time, so I'm strumming quite hard. But just now I was listening to the song, I'm like, no, it's simpler than that. It's Old Faithful. So it's super simple strumming pattern, but let's go through the chords first of all. So that chord progression starts with a C, 1, 2, 3, 4, to a G, to whichever version of G you like, to E minor, 2, 3, 4, to D, 2, 3, 4, and then C to E minor. Back to D, 2, 3, 4, C to E minor, to D, 2, 3, 4, C to D, to the riff. So let me add my little chord lyric to that now. So I remember we were C chord, driving in my car, G, feel so fast, felt like I was drunk, E minor, city lights lit up before us, and your D chord nice wrapped around my shoulder, and C to E minor, had a D that I belonged, and C to E minor, I see I could be someone, C to D, to the riff. Now, once we add the rhythm here, now the rhythm that you want is Old Faithful, and it means that some of the chord changes happen where you might not expect it, like not exactly halfway through the bar. So Old Faithful, if you're not familiar with it, down, down, up, up, down. It's like the most common strumming pattern of all time. Down, down, up, down, or 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Now, there are a few extra little kind of improvised strums that happen in there, but this would be what I'd call a kind of foundation pattern, so I'd suggest learning that, and then if when you're playing it you add in a couple of extra strums, an extra up or an extra down, whatever, as long as your hand keeps moving consistently, it's going to sound fine. So let's talk about where those kind of slightly different chord changes happen. So starting on the C, I remember we were driving in your car, feel so fast, felt like I was drunk, city lights laid out before us, and the arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. Here, C to E minor, to D, here's C to E minor. Okay, so down, down, up, down, down, down. That's the key, most important one. It's copied by the voice as well. It's really important. Just do that bit again. C to E minor, had a D that I belonged, and C to E minor, had a feeling that I'd be someone, C to D. So it happens just at that last C to D as well. The D chord changes on the and after 2. Down, down, up is where the chord change happens. Again, it's one of those things that I think it can help to understand technically what's happening, but most of all, you should just be using your ear and trying to play along with the original recording. I really can't emphasize strongly enough how important it is that you practice along with either a backing track, like you'll find in my app, or along with the original recording. That realization that you can't stop the rhythm is really, really important. If you're struggling with the riff and you can't keep it in time, don't try and play it in time at all. Just do it really slowly on your own and make sure that you develop the technique, and then immediately start working on the timing, because this is one of those riffs where if you don't have the timing of the riff right, it'll be really difficult to sing along with you. It'll be difficult to play along with you. The timing of it is really, really important. It's not that technically difficult to play the riff, but getting the timing right becomes crucial then, especially if you're playing on your own or if you want to sing and play along at the same time. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Remember, there are hundreds more songs over on the website, specifically tailored for beginner guitar players, all graded by difficulty, so you can find the right song for you at this point on your journey. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day and lots of fun with your guitar. I'll see you for plenty more very soon. Bye-bye.